Listen up, please, from yesterday now. We have today very easy. All right, and you guys, I think, did such a good job yesterday that I don't think I have to spend much time. I'm going to go through the rest of the problems with you, and then I may get started a little bit early with the calculator section because I think it went pretty good. All right, those of you guys that were not here yesterday, remember, your obligation as someone who is a great student is to make sure if you're not here that you're reviewing that information, all right? Which means listen to the video, all right? That's why it's up, all right? Now, let's get with today's lesson, all right, which is just to finish, okay? So let me take a look at this right here, all right? So yesterday I asked you to finish question 2, correct? Right, so let's just take a look at that real quick. See if you have the same thing I do. Number 1, all right, we say that the axis of symmetry, x equals negative b over 2a, which is just 0. So far, so good? All right, so if the axis of symmetry is 0, now we're looking for the vertex. And let me just go ahead and slide this over, because I still want you to label it axis of symmetry. And then I want the vertex. You plug in 0, and when you plug in 0, you get what? 8. Beautiful. And then the next step, 3, we ask about the y-intercept. Remember, the y-intercept is 0c, which makes it what? 0, 8. All right? So now we have a little problem because the y-intercept and the vertex are the same. All right? But anyway, we're just going to still plot the axis of symmetry here. Is this guy right here. And then the vertex we'll say is at 0, 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Anybody have any objections with that so far? And then, because they're the same, remember I had you to just plug in a point. Easiest point is x equals what? 1. And when we plug in 1, the y value is what? 6. So now you have to plot 1, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now you need the mirror image, correct? That's why they call it the axis symmetry. So we just go over 1. And now we have this. Everybody with me on that? Yes.
And why would y equal 6? I thought, how do you get 6?
What did you think it was?
I thought it was 7.
Okay, so let's plug 1 in. Y equals negative 2 times 1 squared plus 8. You got it now?
Yeah.
All right. Now again, remember guys, I just don't think that's very hard. All right. Anybody have any questions with that? Pretty straightforward, right? All right, so now let's go down to number 4, right? So same process. All right, step number 1. X equals negative b over 2a. All right, and if we do negative b over 2a, now here's where some of you are asking me questions. Negative, but if the b is already negative, then it becomes positive. So it'd be 6 over 2, which is equal to what? 3. So x equals 3 is your axis of symmetry. Agreed? All right. Now, number 2, your vertex. 3, comma. Now you plug 3 in. So y equals 9 minus 18 minus 1. What's that? What is that? Negative 10. Everybody okay with that? And now, number 3, the y-intercept. What is it? 0, negative 1. Beautiful. Everybody agreeing with me on that? All right, so now let's draw out the axis of symmetry. X equals 3. and then plot the point 3, -10. Now, some of you are like, oh my gosh, well, -10 is on the graph. What do? How about we just go down a little bit, right there? Boom, right? Now, the other thing is, look, guys, watch what I'm going to do. Instead of going down off the graph, watch me. This right here, you can just say is what? -10. So I'm saying I don't care what the scale is. Everybody agree with me on that? Right? You're sketching anyway. So it's 3, -10. So as long as you put that here and you put a 3 here, then I know that point is what? 3, -10. So everybody agree? Now the y-intercept is what? 0, -1. Right? Now I'm going to put that right here, but I'm going to put a -1 right there just so I make sure that people know that that's -1. Everybody understand what I'm saying, right? Now how far away am I from the axis of symmetry? 3. So that means I have to go where? 3 to the right of the axis of symmetry. So 1, 2, 3. There we go right there. Is everybody agreeing with that? Right? And now you're just sketching the graph. Well, that's not that hard. Everybody good? All right, hopefully you got that. All right, let's continue on. 5. Here we go. Let's see what you got. X equals, what is that? Wait a minute. First, though, is it -6? Isn't it +6? 6 over, which is, wait a minute. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now you can see where you can make mistakes here, guys. So double check yourself and make sure you're hearing me on that. Is everybody okay with 6 over -6 equals -1? If you're not sure, speak up now. I keep telling you guys, I can't, if you're not going to talk to me, if you're not sure, speak up. Everybody good with that being -1? All right, so that's number 1. Number 2, y equals -3 times -1 squared minus 6 times -1 plus 7. What does y equal? The final answer there is what? Did anybody else get -2 on that? Bless you. That's not what I got. I don't think so. Y equals 10. So -3 plus 6 plus 7. I'm thinking it's 10 also. All right. Now again, part of the reason why I want to do it without a calculator is because I want to check your mental math here. All right. When there's lots of negatives, kids make mistakes. All right. Is everybody comfortable with that? So now I have what? The vertex is -1, 10. Does everybody agree with that? And now number 3, the y-intercept is 0, 7. Now the y-intercept, don't forget, Hubble, the y-intercept is always the c value right there. All right, but you got to listen to that video so you understand it better, okay? So now let's go with the axis of symmetry. Here we go, right here. Everybody good with that? Now the vertex is at what? -1, 10, right? Do I care about counting up 10 units? No, I'm just going to come up here and say this right here is 10. So there's -1, 10. And now I need 0, 7. All right, 10, 9, 8, 7. I'm just going to put 7 right there. So what does that mean? How far away from the axis of symmetry am I? 1 unit away, right? So I should be 1 unit right here. And so now I'm going like this. Bless you. Everybody good with this? Hey guys, how's everybody doing? Anybody making mistakes on that? What you need? You good now?
Yeah.
All right, seriously now. All right, now what I want to do is, isn't that all I ask you to do up to 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so let me give you about, let's say 15 minutes to do 6, 7, and 8. Or maybe 20 minutes. Everybody do those, 6, 7, and 8. Now, if you are one of those people who, you know, like I was, if the teacher gave me 8 problems, I just went home and did all 8, right? If you stopped at 5, that's okay. If you did all the 8, tomorrow's worksheet is already in, I believe. All right, if you want to pull that up and just take a look at it, you can, if you did all 8. All right, but right now, finish 6, 7, and 8. I'm going to stop the video for about 15 minutes, and then we're going to continue to see how you're doing, to make sure you know how to do it. All right, that's what you're figuring out right now. I want to make sure you know all the steps. All right, so get busy on that. All right, hopefully you don't have any homework. Wow. All right, now for today, everybody go to y equals on their calculator. And we're just going to check number 1. We're just going to check number 1. All right, lots of cool things to do here. Everybody can type it on your calculator. Under y1, everybody type in x squared minus 5. Please listen now, all right? I don't want to repeat myself. It's very simple. Everybody type in y equals x squared minus 5. Now, your calculator, we may have been doing some things in the past, so I want everybody to remember to hit zoom and then standard, and then it converts it to a negative 10 by 10. All right, and then it'll graph it, and does everybody see the graph now? Right, does anybody have any questions with the graph? Now, what you're really doing is you're comparing your graph with what your graph is on the graph paper that you did on your iPad. Girls, please tell me if there's a problem, because I'm not sure if there is. All right, are you guys okay or not? All right, so then focus in on what I'm saying. All right, now, right now, you're supposed to have on your calculator the graph of x squared minus 5. Ava, are you guys okay?
Yeah.
All right, come on, listen. All right, because I'm going to jump into something else now. All right, so the lowest point on the graph is called the what? Vertex. This vertex is called a maximum or minimum? Minimum. So now I'm going to show you how your calculator can find the minimum. Is everybody with me? So now we're going to find the minimum. So everybody go to second, hit the second button, and then calc, which is at the top under trace. Now you get a screen that comes up and it says value 0, min, max. What are we trying to find?
Minimum.
We're trying to find the minimum. So I want you to hit, I think it's number 4, right? 3. Okay, thank you. 4 is the max. So I want you to hit 3. Then left comes up. Come on now, I need your eyes up here and listen to me. Look up, because I want you to hear me. On your screen, left bound comes up. So that means you want to take the cursor and you want to scroll the cursor to the left of the minimum. And as soon as you get to the left of the minimum, you hit enter. And then right bound comes up. So then you want to take the cursor and you want to move it to the what? To the right side of the vertex. And once you move it to the right side of the vertex, you hit what? Enter again. And then guess comes up. Do we ever care about guessing? No, so you hit enter. And boom, it spits out to you the what? The vertex. All right? Now, what does it say?
2.053.
No, keep going.
Oh.
All the way to the end, it should say E. Yeah, come on, guys. It's not hard. What did yours get? Did it give you a point at the end? It should say 0, -5 at the bottom.
Yeah.
Let's say 0, -5.
Yeah.
This is
What did yours say?
My X has like a big gun.
Yeah, and then it has E at the very end and then it'll say like negative something.
Oh, what does negative
That
6
means
are?
0.
Oh.
That's scientific notation for 0. Now, if I were in charge of the program, I would fix it so it would round it to 0. So you got if you're not hearing me now, you're going to come up with things on the test, and I'm not going to tell you what it means on the test. Just to let you know that. So it's not a decimal. It was actually what? 0. All right? So it came out to be 0, -5, correct?
Yeah, so anytime it looks like decimal, then E, negative something?
That's what that means. That's scientific notation for 0.
Okay.
All right? Yes.
I don't understand the minimum maximum things. Before I did that, I had 0 and -5. And then that was 0.
So what? That's the minimum.
Do we have?
Well, I don't know what you're asking. Listen to me, Charlotte. I'm asking you I'm trying to teach you the calculator can find the minimum.
Okay.
That's all I'm doing.
Okay.
Is your calculator able to find the minimum? There's no problem. You see what I'm saying? Now, can we do it by hand? Of course. Right? But when we take a standardized test, you might forgot how to find what the vertex is. So those kids who know how to use a calculator have a big advantage. All right? Because most standardized tests you can use your calculator on. That's what I'm trying to show you. All right? Now, the next thing, listen here, guys. The next thing that's kind of important is I want to know what the y-intercept is. Well, we already know the y-intercept is 0, -5, correct? Now, here's something really cool. I want you to go to second calc again. And then the number 1 is value. So hit that. Hit enter. Now, that's going to give you the y value for every x that you plug in. And what do we want x to be when you're finding the y-intercept? So plug in 0, hit enter, and then it tells you the y-intercept is what?
0, -5.
0, -5. Everybody see that, right? So now, when we want to plug in another point, now some calculators allow you to re-plug another point in. Like if you hit 1, just hit 1, hit enter. It tells you that 1, 4 is on the graph. Now hit 2. And then it tells you 2, -1 is on the graph. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? So the value allows you to find the y value for whatever x value that you enter. Did you hear what I just said? Come on, guys, I'm telling you now, I'm feeding you a lot of really, really good information. If you're not listening to me, you're not going to understand that information. All right, and it's nothing hard, it's just you have to what? You have to listen. All right, if you're not listening, you're going to miss it. All right, does everybody agree with me on that? All right, so now let's go down to something a little bit more difficult. Let's go down to question number 5. So now everybody type in -3x squared minus 6x plus 7. Type that in, hit the graph, and see if it kind of measures what you did. And then after you do that, I want you to calculate try to find the vertex. And how do you find the vertex this time? Is it a minimum or a maximum? You're going to calculate the maximum this time. And if you don't know how to calculate the maximum, that's where we're at. You have to tell me. All right, your job now is to be able to use your calculator to find the maximum and minimum, which is the same as the vertex. You know what we're doing? Okay, second calc max. And make sure you move to the left and to the right. And if you're not getting it, you just got to let me know. Good? Well, that point right there should match what's on your paper. The vertex. The vertex is -1.
What the heck?
-1, -2,
Oh, I know I stopped. Okay, Harrison,
I
touching in the cursor.
the maximum.
Harrison did the big mess up.
Move it
I got
down.
you don't have to touch
down.
it.
Until you go to now you're to the left. Hit enter.
What?
Now move it to the right. Now what does it say? Now here, go to the left. Go to the right. Go to the right.
Wow.
Make a few more cherries. All right. Now remember, guys, this is your responsibility. What's the matter?
I keep getting decimals.
Well, I got like 0.7.
I got like -0.1.
Okay, so listen, if you are not doing it properly, here, I'm going to demonstrate on the board. Look up, please. Look up. I'm going to demonstrate on the board because someone else had trouble and I just fixed it. Look how easy this is to calculate the maximum. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this right here. All right, that's going to represent your cursor. Does everybody agree with me? So this is going to be moving. This is like my cursor. Come on now. Look, does everybody see what I'm getting at? So when you hit find the maximum, it says go left, left bound. So you have to move your cursor until you are somewhere to the what? Does it matter how far left you go? Makes no difference. As long as you are to the left of the maximum, that's sufficient. Then once you hit enter, it's going to say what? Right bound. So now you have to move it where? To the right. And then, now that you're anywhere to the right, you hit enter again. Then it says what? Guess. Do I care about guessing? No. So you hit enter, just enter a third time. And then it moves the cursor to the very maximum, and at the bottom it tells you what that coordinate point is. If you accidentally hit it a fourth time, it's going to go away. There's going to be a blank screen because you're just hitting buttons. All right? So come on now, you guys are smart. You guys know how to use technology. Anybody now have any questions with that? It's important. All right, I want you to be able to find the y-intercept, and I want you to be able to find the maximum using the calculator. Of course, the y-intercept is easy. All right? Anybody have any questions with their calculator? All right. Then, what do I want you to do with all of your answers here on 1 through 8? Just double check them. Make sure they're correct. All right. Does everybody understand that? Okay, now I'm listening.
Under guess, it says 0.7, but when I hit
I don't
enter,
care.
but
Did you say I don't care what it says under guess?
but when I hit enter one more time, it's -1 and then 10.
And what's the answer? See, this is why, Gavin, come on now. I'm telling you, listen. You are not understanding because you don't listen. You want to do what you want to do, and I said, do I care about guessing? Do I? No, don't mumble under your breath because I can hear all the little dumb things you say under your breath too. I have bionic hearing. All right? So, do you hear me? So, listen, the guess, I don't care about guessing. Now, let me tell you what's happening. When guess comes up on your screen, what's happening is that point is the point that the cursor is on at that moment. It's not the answer.
Okay.
So when you moved your cursor over here and you hit enter, it was just telling you what that point is.
Okay.
So that meant what? It meant nothing.
Okay.
That's what I said. Just hit enter when it says guess. And then once you hit enter a third time, it will take you to the... It'll take you to the... There you go, man. That's how easy. All right? The guess means nothing. All right? If I were writing the program, I wouldn't even put the guess on there. It's confusing. It makes you feel like, wow, if I guess, am I going to get it right? It has nothing to do with that. I don't understand why it's there. All right? Just hit enter what? How many times? 3 times. You have to be to the left, then you have to be to the right, then you hit enter a third time for the guess, and boom, it spits out the maximum. You with me now, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Gavin. Being patient. All right. I'll finish up. That's your homework. All right, double check your work with your calculators. Everybody hear me? All right, and if your work doesn't match your calculator, then guess what? Your work is what? Wrong. Unless, of course, you don't know how to type numbers in on the calculator. All right, that could be a problem for some, right, Ken?
Yes.
That could be a problem. All right, get to work.